This is the battle of the newest mid-range and flagship from Apple. The iPhone SE 2022 is a single rear camera, 12 megapixel, and a 7 megapixel selfie. While the iPhone 14 Pro has triple camera setup with 48 megapixel main and 12 megapixel selfie camera. So the question today is the iPhone SE 2022 can stand a chance versus the iPhone 14 Pro? Let the battle begin. Hi everyone, this is JD, your Gadget Review friend. Welcome back to Gadget Rev Now. This is the battle of Apple's mid-range versus flagship, the iPhone SE 2022 versus the iPhone 14 Pro. The iPhone SE 2022 retails at 579 Canadian dollars with a single main camera, borrowing from the last generation, but with the newer A15 bionic. While iPhone 14 Pro is 1399 Canadian dollars, which is twice as much as the counterpart. You know that iPhone 14 Pro offers more than SE 2022. But on this test, we will answer the questions: how big is the gap between its two phones in terms of camera quality, and can the iPhone SE 2022 be a good camera phone as opposed to buying the more expensive Pro model? So yeah, let the battle begin. While the iPhone 14 Pro has triple camera setup with 48 megapixel main and 12 megapixel selfie camera. So the question today is the iPhone SE 2022 can stand a chance versus the iPhone 14 Pro? Let the battle begin. On our first test, the audio, this is too close to make a call. I think both phones sounded really good and almost the same, so this is a tie for me. In terms of how these two phones produces colors, it's almost the same look. The colors on both phones are punchy, typical Apple colors. The reds are smoking red and the sky's a tad bluer than real life. I think in some shots, the colors on iPhone 14 Pro is sometimes more saturated than SE because of the HDR look. The biggest difference for me is the white balance. If you look on the snow on the ground, iPhone SE is a cooler white balance, while 14 Pro is warmer. Looking at the three lenses of the iPhone 14 Pro, the color reproduction is consistent. This is 4K 30 FPS video, and iPhone 14 Pro is one of the best camera phone in terms of video quality. Colors and stabilization are really good. And surprisingly, in a well-lit situation, using the rear camera of iPhone SE, darn, this is just too close, just a little bit punched in for me. This is the iPhone 14 Pro cinematic video 4K at 30 FPS. If you like this type of camera comparison video, don't forget to subscribe. Next is flaring and looking on both daylight and night shots. The iPhone 14 Pro managed it better. In terms of highlights, you will see the age of the sensors. If you zoom in outside the window, the iPhone 14 Pro retained more information. Next is exposure, and I found that iPhone SE is brighter in most part, and if you look on the shadows, iPhone SE exposes it better. Next, we're testing the action mode of iPhone 14 Pro versus the regular stabilization of iPhone SE 2022. And iPhone SE 2022 held its own, I think. The stabilization on both iPhones are great. We're showcasing the ultra-wide lens of iPhone 14 Pro, so just for comparison, this is the regular wide of iPhone SE 2022. And this is the ultra-wide lens of the iPhone 14 Pro. If you need a camera phone for vlogging, I think iPhone 14 Pro is the better option. Now, if you need a zoom capability, iPhone SE only has a single camera. While the iPhone 14 Pro can zoom in optically 3 times more without sacrificing the video quality. I think it is also worth mentioning that the transition of the three lenses of the iPhone 14 Pro is seamless, including the 2x digital crop. I think this is a nice touch by Apple. Next, we're checking the noise, and on this image, if you look on the upper right corner, iPhone 14 Pro cleans up the noise better. The sharpness of these two iPhones are impeccable. The main sensors are sharp. It is less sharp on the ultra-wide lens of iPhone 14 Pro if we zoom in, but the sharpness and details of the iPhone 14 Pro zoom is better compared to the regular wide of iPhone SE. In terms of close focus, iPhone SE 2022 isn't that bad, but iPhone 14 Pro has macro mode. The details on the iPhone SE 2022 again isn't that bad, but it is overshadowed by iPhone 14 Pro's 48 megapixel sensor, which produces very detailed images. Now we're checking the selfie cameras of these two phones, and iPhone SE 2022 can only shoot full HD and the stabilization is awful. While the iPhone 14 Pro is capable of shooting 4K selfie video with great stabilization. The portrait mode is better on iPhone 14 Pro. Starting with non-human subjects, iPhone SE 2022 cannot detect them. For human subjects, the colors, contrast, and sharpness on iPhone 14 Pro is better, and sometimes depending on the light source, iPhone SE 2022 will produce washout photos. Looking at the selfie camera, the details on my face is so much better on iPhone 14 Pro. Checking the low light photos, iPhone SE 2022 didn't receive the night mode, although it's just software manipulation, so everything on iPhone SE sucks in low light. For iPhone 14 Pro, all three lenses received night mode. This is the selfie video recording in low light condition, and iPhone SE again is darker than iPhone 14 Pro. But I don't think there's a big gap in video quality. It is brighter but noisy too. And same goes on the rear camera. iPhone SE is darker and noisier compared to the flagship counterpart. I'm seriously not expecting a win for iPhone SE on this category. While in sheer low-light performance, the bigger and the newer sensor of iPhone 14 Pro is brighter and has less noise. And lastly, versatility. iPhone 14 Pro has additional ultra-wide lens and 3x optical zoom. So what is Gadget Rev Now's verdict? iPhone 14 Pro or iPhone SE 2022? Apple, unlike Google, has different marketing strategy. They will not give a mid-range phone a chance to compete with a flagship offering. Let's do a recap. iPhone SE 2022 has cooler white balance and better exposure. While iPhone 14 Pro has warmer white balance, wider field of view and main camera, manages the flaring better, it has action mode, ultra-wide lens, and 3x optical zoom, cleans up the noise better, macro mode, more detailed, 4K selfie video with better stabilization, night shot, and better low-light video. Going back to our question, yes, there's a big gap in terms of camera performance. It's not even close. And secondly, iPhone SE 2022's chance to compete isn't in the camera, but the speed of the A15 Bionic. iPhone 14 Pro is so much better, but you need to shed 140% more, and that choice is yours to make. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll continue to compare these two phones in our channel, so stay tuned. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.